Sheikh Hind Al Maktoum is the enigmatic wife of the ruler of Dubai, one of the richest men on the planet. Although Sheikh Mohammed officially had 6 wives, many of them ran away from him, others he kicked out himself. But only Hind has lived with him for almost half a century and bore him 12 children. Is she happily married? Why was their wedding in the Guinness Book of Records? Did she plot against the Sheikh's other wives? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. Hind Al Maktoum is the First Lady of Dubai and mother of Crown Prince Hamdan. She was born on February 12, 1962 and belongs to Dubai's ruling Al Maktoum dynasty. The daughter of Dubai's ruler Saeed II, Sheikh was her mother. The princess received a home upbringing in accordance with Islamic traditions. She hardly ever left the palace, and it seemed as if fate itself was preparing her for a special mission. Hind had known Sheikh Mohammed since childhood. She was Mohammed's cousin on her mother's side and a third cousin on her father's side. In 1979, an important event happened in Hind's life when she was 17 years old. Hind and Mohammed's parents agreed on their union. At the time, Sheikh Mohammed was the head of Dubai Police and the Minister of Defense. He was 30 years old and continued to enjoy the life of a bachelor. 2 years before he got engaged to Hind, he even had a daughter, Manal, whose mother was a Lebanese woman named Randa. Mohammed's family was probably tired of his romantic adventures and decided to show the world that the Sheikh was ready for family life. To leave no doubt, the wedding was held with unprecedented opulence. The lavish celebration also had political overtones. The Emiratis were starting to make a lot of money from oil sales and wanted to show the world their success. Mohammed and Hind's wedding was the first large-scale public event in Dubai that looked more like a national holiday than a wedding. The celebrations took place near the royal palace of Sabil. The huge sandy area in front of the palace was cleared and enclosed with a fence. Lighting poles were installed and decorated. A 20,000-seat stadium was built especially for the wedding. The enormity of the events is illustrated by the fact that only important persons were allowed into the stadium. Hundreds of thousands of ordinary Arabs were accommodated in the open air. This was the only way to see the ceremony, unprecedented for the Emirates. A procession of 20 camels of a rare breed brought gifts to Hind's feet. These were gifts to the bride from Mohammed and the noble guests. They were mostly outfits with rubies and diamonds, jewelry, antique dishes and carpets, and several luxury cars. Free treats and entertainment were provided to all Dubai residents for 5 days. For the first time in the city's history, a grand air show was staged in the sky. Guests also saw camel races, in which Mohammed Al Maktoum won an uncontested victory. He also laid the winning gold cup at the feet of his bride. The aristocrats who came to the party were shocked by the luxury of the ceremony. $137 million were spent on the party. This wedding became the most expensive in history and was listed in the Guinness Book of Records. Until now, no woman in the world has ever had such an expensive wedding. Incredibly, the grandiose luxury did not embarrass 17-year-old Hind. After the celebration, she devoted herself fully to family life. Over the next 2 decades, she bore her husband 12 children. She gave birth almost every year, which is a feat in itself. Hind also fostered several foster boys and girls she adopted from charity funds. These were mostly orphans taken from orphanages. However, the father of some of the non-local children is Mohammed. The Emirates Sheikh took them from his other wives and then gave them to his elder wife to raise. According to eyewitness accounts, not only did she not object to this, but she even rejoiced. This woman is incredibly fond of children and has never made any distinction between her own and other people's. The princess gave birth to her firstborn, a girl, Jesser, a year after the wedding. Another year later, Rashid was born. It was he who was to succeed his father on the throne of Dubai. His mother put all her soul into the upbringing of the future ruler. And he, indeed, grew up an intelligent and strong-willed man, on whom the subjects of Dubai hoped. However, at the age of 33, the pride of her mother, a brilliant athlete and heir to the throne, died of a heart attack. It was a great sorrow for Hind, but she knew she had no right to wallow in despondency. After all, she had other children to raise and prepare for adulthood. There were many other trials in Hind's fate. Her husband had so many women that probably some of them the Sheikh does not even remember. As a rule, Mohammed had 3 or 4 wives at a time, and periodically they would change. This usually happened when the next wife quarreled with him. He would then break off the relationship with that woman and take the children for himself. Hind saw all this but accepted it with humility because she was brought up in strict Muslim traditions. Also, according to these traditions, she always wears a mask on her face. This metal cloth mask worn by Arab women from the Gulf countries is known as a burqa. This word is similar to the word burqa, which refers to a covering that covers the entire face. However, the burqa serves to cover only part of the face and is traditionally a symbol of femininity. The burqa used to be a constituent part of the daily dress of Arab women. But now it is mainly seen on older ladies. In 2004, Hind faced an unpleasant challenge. Sheikh Mohammed married Princess Haya of Jordan, who was 12 years younger than Hind and looked more spectacular. She was active and ambitious. Unlike the Sheikh's older wife, Haya appeared at all events with Mohammed. She actively participated in events, gave interviews and engaged in social activities. However, this marriage ended tragically. After 15 years, Haya escaped from the palace along with her 2 children. In the court of London, she managed to win the case and get from the former spouse $730 million, which made this divorce one of the most expensive in the world. Ironically, Sheikh Mohammed set 2 world records related to his wives. He spent a truly astronomical amount of money on his wedding to Hind. But he had to give even more to legally part ways with Haya. From the looks of it, he has no regrets whatsoever. After all, both wives gave him more than money. As for Hind, she succeeded in raising all of Mohammed's children. Crown Prince Hamdan is actively involved in the development of the Emirates and is preparing to replace his father as ruler of Dubai. 7 more sons work in public administration, are engaged in business and science. Almost all daughters have successfully married and are raising children. To date, the First Lady is already more than 60 years old. Hind has fulfilled her maternal duty and now helps her husband in the management of the emirate. She is actively involved in charity work, participates in the promotion of Arab women, works in the government and supervises the social sphere. However, despite all her merits, Hind remains modest and does not brag about her achievements to the public. Rumor has it that the photos are not of Hind, but of her mother Nora, the nanny who helped her raise Sheikh Mohammed's children. And that there are only a few photos of Hind, all taken in her youth. What are your thoughts on this? Write in the comments. The First Lady is hugely respected and loved by the people of Dubai. For local women, she is an example of ideal human qualities that a true Muslim woman should possess. Together with her husband, she experienced joy and sorrow, overcame all the difficulties and trials, facing his antics and numerous romantic liaisons. We can assume that this is what a woman's devoted and selfless love looks like. Subscribe to the channel, put a like. See you soon.